Farmers is a lifeblood to any nation. Without farmers, you're not going to eat. Farmers are what you need to build nations. We don't need more rappers. We don't need more singers, and they're fine for entertainment. We need more farmers, especially within the Black American, community. We need definitely. There's a lot of farmers on the continent. My God, there's so many farmers on the continent, and those farmers on the continent grow food. What they've been growing for thousands of years. The fruits and vegetables are so much better over there. They're not putting all that nasty chemicals they do here in America. But Black farmers, have dwindled down almost to the point that they're rare, which is sad. Now, Black folks out of slavery, we did all the farming, we did everything. But these people, ever since slavery, have been on a attack of the Black farmer. So in 1920, Black-owned farms made up of 14% of the industry. But they say, however, decades of racial violence, discrimination, and shift away from overall agricultural society has caused the number to dwindle to under 2% today. Think about that. Black people had 14% of the farms, and now it's under 2%. Literally trying to get rid of the farmer. If you have no farmers, brothers and sisters, in our community, you're going to depend on other people to farm for you. If people control your food, they can starve you out. If you don't know how to grow anything with food, it needs to be a mass resurgence into learning how to farm. If you learned it here, or you're going to learn it from the brothers and sisters on the continent, it needs to happen. They say now advocates, they say for the, brothers and sisters who are farming, is there a questioning whether Jim Crow Joe can accomplish something that in the past haven't happened. Now, I say through the Jim Crow Joe administration, he has listed combating inequality and climate change as priorities, which definitely affect Black farmers. But not everyone is convinced that Biden would be a departure with business as usual. Did he not say? He said this publicly, that we are returning to the status quo. He said that. He said he's trying to reverse everything back to what it was the day before Trump got in office. He said that. This is not nothing that's made up. He said this publicly. Now, let me show you how treacherous, Barack Obama was back in his tenure. So this sister by the name of Shirley Sherrod. Now, she was a former Georgia State Director of Rural Development for the U.S. Department of Agriculture during Obama's presidency. She was forced to resign back in 2010 after some of her remarks are taken out of context to paint her as, they claim, anti-white. Like, really? Okay. By Andrew Breitbart, a known white supremacist. They say, upon realizing the error, this is Obama, it said administration offered Sherrod her job back. You let the sister go after what Andrew Breitbart had to say. Barack Obama, the first so-called Black president, let the sister go based off of what he said, right? Not asking her what's going on to clarify or whatever. Just let her go. And this is why we said that he never could connect with Black folks because he wasn't raised around us. He was raised around his grandmother, his mother. He thought more white in the mind. He didn't think like us. So I said, we have not had a president that come from what we have dealt with. Our history, our lineage. We haven't had that yet. People looking at Kamala. Kamala is not nothing related to our lineage and what we have here. She's not. That's why she can't relate to our issues. Because somebody can relate to our issues would never say it. Well, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm only going to do something for Black people. No, you wouldn't say that, because you're going to realize if you came from how we grew up, man, I got to do something for them because they drowning out here. So when Obama offered her job back, sister said, nah, keep that job. And I love people like that, because don't let people play with you. You have some integrity about yourself, and you have principles. And I like people like that. Say, nah, you let me go, that's fine. Now the sister, says she continues her mission to help black farmers, and she is the co-founder of New Communities Land Trust. Now she said we waited year after year, said we fought for the changes, and said, and who thinks it's past time to deliver? She said now the agency in this country really needs to figure out how to do the right thing by black people. And we've been saying that, not people of color, not minorities, not women, not Asians, not whoever else, black people. Because see, everybody else gets something out of Joe Biden, as we see already. We've seen it. But black people haven't gotten anything. Now, this has been the controversy with Jim Crow Joe's agriculture secretary that he nominated, Tom Vilsack. Now, he held the position under Obama. He played a key role in getting the sister fired. This is why a lot of people had an issue with him. He played a key role, teaming up against the sister. Now, she said that she don't hold no grudges. She said, but she just wanted him to do something for black farmers at that time period. Now, check this out. Now, black farmers in the 1920s, they had 925,000 black farmers in this country. And now it's current around 35,000. Think about that. They have purposely targeted and systemically got rid of black farmers. And I remember a story I covered maybe about a year or two ago. A black farmer bought 100,000 seeds from a company. And he did not understand that why his seeds, his crops wasn't growing. There's maybe a few were sprouting, but the rest of them wasn't. But he found out, he looked and see all the white farmers, they stuff doing well. And then the brother had the seed tested. And then when he had it tested, he realized it was nothing but bad product. They purposely sold him some messed up seeds after buying 100,000 seeds. And then he went to sue them. See, this sabotage of the black farmer, they don't want black people to do anything on our own. You have to understand that. That even goes all the way back to the Willie Lynch letter, where he said that we got to keep black people dependent on us. We got to continue to make them love us. And that love for them and that dependence on them makes you powerless. So black farmers stand in the way of you being completely dependent upon them. Remember, if they control all the food, then you starve to death. You have to think like that. It's sad, but it is some hope, because if you can't get a hold to a brother, sister, or farmer here, there's so many on the continent. See, this is why I am and say that we need to all work together, because let's think about something here for a minute. You having our farmers literally suffering and can't do what they need to do. What if, some of us go to the continent, get some land and say, hey, brothers, sisters, this is all this farmland. They got so much land over there in the continent, plenty of land that we can go buy. And you farm here. And then let's take some of that food and let's send it back to Black America. And let's start our grocery stores and get all our produce from the continent that our farmers are growing or partnering with other African farmers. This is how we work together with each other, because we need to work together as each other. We got to connect with the continent. We got to connect with the Caribbean. All that we just separating. Yes, we are all our own people. We all our own distinct group. We got our own traditions and dances and clothes, and black people are the most diverse people on the planet Earth, in spite of what Jim Crow Joe, what he said on the Breakfast Club. None of us are the same. And that's a beautiful thing. That's not nothing to weaponize. The white supremacist has always weaponized our differences. That is a beautiful thing, because he's bland. He has no differences. We speak hundreds of languages, all over the world. We dress different ways. We dance different ways. We do everything, like I said, different. And that's great. I'm not against my brother from, Nigeria, or my sister from Trinidad, or my brother from Somalia, or whatever. I'm not against nobody. If you want to work with me, I want to work with you. Now, of course, you got some self-hating people in the black world. Of course you do. You have some black people all over the world that hate black people. We have to keep addressing that. That's not relegated to just one group out of our whole diaspora. No. And when we meet those black folks who want to be shucking and jiving, Sambos, and those who hate black people and want to work with white supremacy, they should be called out and should be marginalized and should be dealt with immediately by the collective. I'm not going to focus all my attention just on those who's doing that from other places, because we got people right here that's within our own tribe that's trying to undermine us and hurt us as black Americans. Blvd, CBC, just to name a few. You know, some of these old civil rights groups that's trying to get their checks but selling us down the river. You understand? We need to work together. And farming is very, very important. Some of you brothers and sisters, man, I like to learn that. I watched a video the other day from African Tigers, and shout out to her. And she was in Tanzania. And, you know, she was with some brothers and sisters that was farming, had a lot of farmland. And I'm like, this is the right way to go. We need farmers. Our brothers and sisters are suffering. You understand that? Suffering. They can't get loans, but the white farmers are getting the loans. They can't get any kind of grants, but the white farmers are getting grants. You understand? They always try to undercut and undermine black people. Now, there's a bill that is called Justice for Black Farmers Act. And it's supposed to be a bill that was presented by Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, and Kirsten Gillibrand. Now, I say the goal of the bill is to address the history of discrimination against black farmers and ranchers that require reforms within the Department of Agriculture to prevent future discrimination and for other purposes. And it seeks to give land grants to the USDA that allow black farmers to reclaim up to 160 acres, it's each at no charge. Now, they have figured out that black farmers have lost an estimated $350 billion of economic wealth to pass down to their children through white supremacist terrorism and U.S. government policies. That's a lot of wealth that could be passed down to the hands of black people. I remember one story I covered where you had a brother, he was a farmer, he had 10 children with his wife. The white supremacist went and killed that brother on his farm. And what the wife going to do with 10 kids in that farm? She can't do it by herself. Things like that happened. Or one story that these black people had their farms, the white supremacists broke into the courthouse, burned the whole courthouse down. Then the black folks was like, well, my deed and everything was at the courthouse. They said, oh, well, you don't have the deed, so your land gonna be for sale. A lot of brothers and sisters lost their land like that. I mean, it's been sabotage. So we got to connect. We got to connect with the continent. If that's not for you, we're fine. Be at the mercy of Babylon. Is that what you want? But those of us who understand the future and understand where things are going, jump on things early before things are too expensive where you can't do it. Get some of that land out there. Join with our farmers and help them get land and help them get equipment so they can start manufacturing food for the community. Because we can't trust these people. Bill doggone Gates just now acquired the majority of farmland in the United States. Do you think Bill Gates is going to give you and me great food to eat? You got another thing coming if you think Bill Gates is about to give you and me. Man, it's about to be so freaking genetically modified what he give you. Shoot, man. Black folk, seriously, we need to get into farming, connect with our brothers and sisters on the continent where all that land is at and figure that out. And no, nobody's just gonna hand you land. You need to go over there, make relationships with people, talk with people, and figure out how can I get some of this land I want to farm. That's the way it works. Nobody's just gonna give you anything. Not to say you couldn't be given anything, but you got to go over there and make the relationships with the people. Because see, the continent is different. You actually got to go talk with people. You got to network. You got to sit down, break bread. Tell people what you got going on. Make friends with people. You understand? We got to do it like that. In America, we so, well, everything's just a computer, everything. No, it's not like that over there. But we can do it if you will want to, because only 35,000 farmers, that's all we have, with 40 plus million people. That's nothing. That's a blip. And I'm going to say this once again before I wrap this video up. If we lose every farmer that we have, then We depend on them 100% to feed us. And you know good and well they are not the people to be dependent on. You know this. You know it. Well, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the particular story about the farmers and just how, treacherous Obama was going to let the sister go behind Andrew Breitbart of all people. And the guy that Jim Crow Joe has now was part of getting that sister fired with Obama. Boy, I tell you, like I said, Babylon. Like I said, it does not showing anything good for us, family.